Hi everyone, and thanks for stopping by to my channel. Today I'm going to go through Kyoto's Revoltech Captain America from the amazing Yamaguchi line. Long name and branding for it, but that's what it is. This is part of the line that Spider-Man and Wolverine came from that I covered in my channel, and if you haven't seen that, go check that out. So I've actually delayed doing this video for one particular reason, so when I get to examining the figure, it will be very apparent why I took my time doing it. So jump ahead a few minutes if you want to get straight to the figure, because I'm going to go through his optional parts before that. So first up, he comes with a stand, and most characters in this line do come with a stand, and his comes with the base, and then the shaft, and then the claws to do the screws on here, tighten them or loosen them depending on your needs, and that's the stand. He comes with 2 spare joints for his shoulders. Let me get it out of the way. His joints do get loose very quickly. Pretty much notorious thing for the line. So they've given you 2 spare joints. Sadly, no spare wrist pegs, which is what I really prefer as well, because my wrists, well, not my personal wrist, but the wrists on the figures tend to get quite loose or snap off. They also give you this different colored one for the shield. So this goes into his back and into the shield, so you can get some dope poses where he's standing with the shield on his back. I'll show you that towards the end as well, so skip ahead if you want to see that. Then going through to his hands, he comes with 3 single right hands and then 1 extra pair of hands. So going through his single right hands, every leader needs to come with a pointing finger, and this one looks good. It's a gloved red hand, and then the details on the back side of the hand look good, look solid, nice vibrant red. Put that aside. Comes with a salute hand, same details, same color, looks good. And then he comes with this odd hand, which, well, look at the shape. We know should be definitely holding a pistol, but sadly, this Captain America does not come with a pistol. Now, I think it's something similar to how Wolverine was before, whereas Wolverine came with a hand where he's holding a cigar, but didn't come with a cigar, which is something they changed upon release. But in his promo shots, he did come with a cigar. But I don't remember Captain America promo shots coming with that hand or anything, any pistol in his promo shots. Anyway, yeah, it's a useless hand in my opinion. But here we go. So his pair of hands is an open palm hand. So this one is used to, when he's throwing the shield or grabbing the shield. You've got holes in the inside of the palm, which is where the function lies, and I'll show you that once I swap the hands. And this is the reverse side of the hands. Same detail, same color, all of that good stuff. Now he comes with a Steve Rogers head and an extra yelling head. I'll do the yelling head first. So his eyes might look weird, but that's because they can actually be moved with this little blue tool right here. So looking a close look at the face first. The chin strap is sculpted on. It's quite plain, but once you attach it to the Captain America helmet itself, it looks a lot better. So if you just put this tool into the holes here, you can move his eyes, or move both eyes, just to kind of show you what I mean. So he was kind of looking straight ahead, what I showed you earlier. Now he's looking a bit to his left. It's a bit fiddly, to be quite honest with you, but it's a good, functionality to have. I'm gonna put that aside. Give you a closer look at the Steve Rogers face. This is a complete head actually, so his face doesn't come off from this head, and it looks good. It's looking slightly upwards, and then he's got nice golden hair. Pretty good sculpt in my opinion. I actually like the Steve Rogers head. It's going for a comic book likeness, not a Marvel movie likeness, so no Chris Evans here for anyone. Then his shield, which is of course a highlight piece for this figure. The shield looks really cool. I really like the colors on them, the blues, the silver, and of course the red. There's this star in the center, and then on the other side, got the straps on here, a hole in the center for a few different reasons, which I'll show you, and then more straps here. The holes actually are slightly different sized. These ones are also slightly different sized and slightly different shaped, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Sizing of the shield, I think, looks quite good. Let me line them up to the figure. I personally think it's fine, but I'm not a hardcore Captain America fan, so those ones might object or have different opinions. Let me bring back the shield actually, because I need to show you the effect piece. So this effect piece is ricocheting bullets, and of course I have to drop it because I drop everything, at least one thing, in all my videos. So this is a ricocheting bullets piece, and it's got a slight curvature to match the shield. So you just slide it on, and it's fairly easy to do actually. I've just misaligned it, but there you go. Slide it on, and it looks good. So once you get some cool poses using this shield, it really adds and highlights and accentuates the figure. And I like it. It's really cool. It's quite not overly sharp, but many pointed bits, so keep it away from young children. So that covers the shield. There's extra straps here on the side, which I'll get into more details as I swap it, but basically this is for his forearm. This goes into his fist. There's two of these, but one's already applied to his fist there, and this one's for throwing or catching the shield, and I'll show that more in a little moment. Okay, so now we're going to run down the figure. I'm going to tip him over just so you can see why I delayed doing a video on him. So his leg came off. So when I actually opened this figure and took off the immense amount of plastic that was actually attached to this guy, well, basically his right leg broke. It does twist. I'll even show you on his left leg. So you can twist his boot like so, and then it pivots too. But when I tried it with his right leg, there was no give, nothing like that. Put a little bit of extra pressure on it, and then it just decided to just come off. Well, I'm laughing about it now, but it was super annoying and disappointing when it happened upon, well, opening a brand new figure. So, you know, Captain America, not just Captain America, but this entire line that has issues with super loose joints and things like that. So when that happened, I was just like, another problem right on top of the existing loose joints. Captain America is no exception to loose joints, by the way. So let me give you a closer look quickly at what happened. The joint is actually still embedded into his leg here, and then it's just, there's a peg that just broke in the other one. I'm probably going to have to just drill it out somehow. I can't really be bothered to do that, so that's annoying. However, I bought this from Nippon Yasan, and after like a month of back and forth, I was chasing them quite a lot, to be honest. They managed to get in touch with Revoltech, however you want to pronounce it, and got me a replacement pair of legs. So I'm happy that's actually happened. It typically doesn't happen. Maybe not typically, but it can be very difficult, if not impossible, to get a replacement piece for, you know, broken parts and things like that. I think Good Smart Company are better at it because they have foreign dealings, but Revoltech was something new. This is the first time I've had to do this, by the way, and I'm grateful that Nippon Yasan was able to hook me up with that, even though I had to actually pay extra to get this part, the spare legs, shipped back to me. So that was the annoying bit, but in the end, all is well, I suppose. So you can swap this back out, and I'm going to show you that right now. So what you do is you pull Captain America from his torso. It can be quite loose sometimes, sometimes not. You might even see that actually he comes apart as I go through his articulation and whatnot. But yeah, you pull him from his torso and then just attach him back to the new pair of legs, and now he looks solid. It's a good figure. So we're going to take a closer look at him now. He's got a fresh pair of legs that aren't broken. So overall, actually, I think he looks really good. I think they did a solid job on making him look like a good, powerful character, a leader with his big chest and big shoulders. The colors are great on this. The details are also quite interesting. So he's got the A, of course, and the wings on his helmet. And then, of course, this normal head also has the chin straps and the silver star on his chest. It's not scales exactly. It's more of an armored, the words and reference escape me now, but not scales, basically. Still looks good. Stripes on his belly. And then the belt does come apart. I'll get into that a bit more detail. Basically allows him extra room. The buckle, knee pads are different. Boots look good. And his gloves too. And his inside of these gloves, he's got the straps. I've already attached this strap for the shield here, which I mentioned earlier on, and I'll get into that more. And he's got a ribbing underneath in his armpits and bicep area. Moving to the back, this looks more like plated armor. Probably still isn't. It's more probably rubber if it was real life. And then, of course, the back of the utility belt, and then the Marvel C there. So it actually looks really solid. It's these guys focus more on the comic art rather than the Marvel movie face likeness. So you're not going to see like Chris Evans or anything like that. So I prefer that. I just kind of like the comic book reference material more than the MCU stuff. So going through his articulation then. So of course, ignore the plastic. And speaking of the plastic, this guy came with a ton of plastic, not just on his legs but everywhere. Plastic was just coming out of him from all places, and it was annoying to deal with. So here we go. He can look up. He can look down. Upwards, by the way, let me show you that again, is a good range, purely because they have the double piece of the head. Spider-Man had a similar thing. I think Wolverine also has the same thing as well. He can tilt his head side to side, and then he can look side to side too. Be careful, because what I've done it too much, and then his head kind of became a bit loose. So sit that back on. And then shoulder, hopefully it doesn't pop up, but it can twist around. It's on a double ball joint, so you can kind of pull it out a little bit and forward and around, and that's exactly what I mean. And it's actually come off at not particularly the peg piece, but where the split happens on the joint. So I'm going to put that back together, which might take a while. So let's do that right now. Okay, so I've put his shoulder back on. It actually didn't take as long as I expected, but it's going to be an ongoing problem. So thankfully, of course, they gave the spare, so I can use that when I need to. So then, yeah, back to shoulder. This shoulder pad is attached to the upper part of the arm, and it can move around a little bit. This one's a bit on the stiff side, so I'll show you on the right, because it's easier. So there we go. That's what I mean. And then he's got his elbow. There we go. Let's try and do that. Yeah, there we go. His elbows are fairly loose, personally speaking, and if you go for positions where he needs to hold the shield out, like the throwing and catching position, then that can, because the weight of the shield actually, it droops his hand down. And it's not just at the elbows, by the way, it's also at the wrists. So moving down to the wrists, so of course he can move them up and down, and then he can twist at the wrist. But because these are flimsy joints, the weight of the shield, it can't really be contained, so you're going to have a little bit of droop. It's a known thing. There's a lot of people that have commented about this problem, so you're just going to have to live with it and accept it. If you can find a solution to it, then yeah, that's good for you, really. Now, he's also got the extra kind of shoulder range that Wolverine came with. So if you twist these back here, you can bring your shoulder blades almost touching at the back, and then you can twist them back forward, even, and then reset them like so. So it looks good. I do like that a little bit of addition. It gives that extra sort of stretching or push, jutting his chest more outwards for different, dynamic poses and such. You can crunch forward, a good deal, and then bring him back. Leaning back is not so great, actually. I couldn't really do much with him. I think it's just because the hair, it kind of hampers that movement. You can go side to side. It's a bit more of a weight thing. If you mess around with the internal joint, then you can get the ratchet repositioned based on what kind of pose that you want to aim for. And then his legs, he's got the upper thigh swivel here, and he can kick up. You could probably do a bit better than that, actually, but I'm just going to go back that far. With his legs back, and then at the knee, it's a really good knee bend, very good actually. Bring it back, and it looks, decent when you've got it. Let's say this angle, it's not bad. And then here he can pivot here, and then there's a bit of a twist on the boot. The ankle is everything you would expect, and of course, finally the toe. So articulation wise, it's really good. Let me get back to the belt. You can move that around so his legs kind of go a bit further up. It doesn't really do that much, but depending on the pose, yeah, it's useful to have. Why complain, right? It still looks good anyway. So articulation is quite good. It's very similar to Wolverine, I find. So it's great. Of course, be careful if you have like stiff issues like I did. You don't want to break them and get the problem where, yeah, Captain America breaks a leg. Ha ha ha. So now what I'm going to run through is his headpiece. Let's do that. So taking off his head, this is his regular face. It's two pieces. This is the underside of his head. Creases here towards the neck area. Put that aside. Take the head out. Now remember, this one you can change the eyes as well, just like the alternate face. Get the new face, the yelling one. Put that in. Remember, move his eyes. Get the second piece. Careful not to lose it or drop it. Hopefully I don't. I tend to drop things a lot on camera. And then there we go. Put his head back on. Looks good. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do his Steve Rogers face head. Actually, Steve Rogers head, because it's a complete head. Line it up. And hopefully I've got it. Check it's a good fit, squeeze a bit more. Hopefully it's a solid fit. If it falls off, excuse me, I will put it back on. But yeah, the joints can get loose no matter where they are. So that's a Steve Rogers head. I think it looks quite good actually. Maybe some people might not like it, but I have no objections in this particular video. Now then, let's go to his shield. I'm going to do it on his left hand because on his right hand, well, when I take his right hand off, usually, yeah, that's what happens. The joint gets stuck in the hand and then you have to kind of fiddle around and pry it out somehow. So I didn't have that problem with his left hand, but I'll show you how to take his left hand off. Before that though, let's get his shield attached. Now, remember I attached this already because it was easier to do and they have different sizes and I didn't want to play around with that. So let's get this one attached to his hand. There's holes in his hands, top and bottom. And then you just put this in. And then you get the shield. Now this is actually for the smaller side, so let's maneuver it around a bit. So you reposition these. And then you hope for the best, basically. Now on camera this can be a little bit more fiddly, but I seem to have done it. Okay, here we go. So that's stage one done, or parts of stage one. And then you want to get the forearm piece, which is this piece. Remember, these holes are different sizes, so you want to make sure you get the right size hole. So, yep, let's do that. Now this as well is also a little bit awkward on camera and even off camera. So hopefully I can do that just fine. And I have. Okay, great. I'll be honest, that took me practice. I've been doing it quite a bit, so I'm glad that's happened. So it's a pretty snug attachment for now. Hopefully it doesn't come loose like every other joint does on this figure, but it looks good and he looks dope holding the shield. Again, size wise I think it's fine. You can get him crouching behind the shield quite a lot. Let's kind of do that right now. So bend his legs and bring his arm up. So yeah, you see you can get him shielding himself a good amount. I think he looks really good holding the shield. It's so dope. I do think it looks, yeah, like I said, looks dope. It looks dope. As some people might not like the joints, you know, that's just the thing because they're quite exposed in areas, and again, you know, things like that, you'll get exposed areas like his back, maybe too much exposed areas in like his shoulder and elbow. But right now I think he looks very, very cool holding his shield. So that's cool. I've shown you that. But then how about showing you his other hand where he holds the shield or throws the shield. So let's take this back off. So you just do the reverse, pull this out, put this aside, and then these will just take out in one go. Leave it on attached to his hand. And then let's swap for his left hand where he's throwing the shield. Actually, I'm not going to attach the hand because I find it's easier to do this, attach the hand to the shield before then attaching it to his arm. So what I'm going to do first is this transparent piece here. Grab the shield and then it goes into the center. Plug it in like so. And then you get the piece for the hand here. The peg. Put the peg in to the hand. It's pretty straightforward to be honest. And you can see where I'm going with this. Put it onto his wrist joint. And now Captain America is holding the shield. So, because of the weight, you can kind of see what happened right there. The weight of the shield means that you have to really play around with the positioning of the elbow. So if there's a bit more friction where here, you can see with his bicep, then it will allow him to hold it up a bit more. But it's not just the elbow, it can happen with the wrist too. So just keep that in mind where the weight of the shield is going to weigh down both the wrist and the elbow. Is it disappointing? Yeah, 100% is disappointing. But I think it's just, you just have to accept it. Hopefully they can kind of find out and figure out these problems for the later figures coming down in this particular line. So I advise to maybe not use this particular hand or find a solution for now. I mean, it looks great when he has the defense shield pose with the fist. But that's how you do the hand anyway. And then finally, I think finally, is getting this shield attached to his back. So take that off. And take his hand off. And we'll twist his hand out. Take that off. Take this part out. What we need then is that peg I showed you right at the beginning. Let's straighten this out because it's typically easier to do as you straighten it out. Now, you notice the hole in his back. Put that in there. I'm twisting, I probably shouldn't twist it, probably not the best idea with Revoltech figures. And then basically you just put the shield back on here. It's gone in fairly gently. Bend it at the joint. And then there we go. The shield is now attached to Captain Steve Rogers' back. And it looks good. Maybe some people might not like how there's a big gap here now. But I think depending on the camera angle you take photography of or display it in your cabinet, I think it's going to be quite a cool and dope looking figure. So let me attach his, no, it was his right hand. Let me attach to any left hand. This is the hand I found. Back to his arm. There we go. And then yeah, it looks good from the front as well. Maybe again people might prefer a slightly bigger shield. Maybe they prefer a slightly smaller shield. I think it personally looks good and in line with the rest of the figure too. So I've covered everything that the figure can do, his optional parts, his articulation, the way he looks, things like that. Now overall I do like the figure. Of course there are problems with joints, very loose joints. Thankfully that hasn't happened a lot on camera, but just definitely take my word for it that his joints loosen up in everywhere. Basically his joints loosen up. That is a situation and a problem that occurs on Wolverine, on Spider-Man and Magneto. It's a line-wide thing. So these figures cost, you know, about 40, 50 pounds, whatever it is. So they're expensive. So you want to keep that in mind, that when you pay for that, be gentle with these figures, because once you get loose joints, it's frustrating and fiddly to get them into a good position and all sorts. But I still do like them. You know, I'm still going to continue buying what the characters are like. I think next up is Carnage, so we will be buying him. I've also read recently as well that they have announced a DC line of the amazing Yamaguchi figures. Batman is going to be first, and I'm really keen to check him out, despite them probably going to have loose joints, right? So I hope you enjoyed the video. I've got more on my channel where I cover Spider-Man and Wolverine and also Magneto in this same Revoltech line, so check that out if you haven't seen it already. Check out my channel as well for other videos of figures from different manufacturers like SH Figuarts from Bandai and Figma and other random sort of, you know, junk basically. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.